Do affirmations work? Yes, they do. Dan has talked about it. I've talked about it as well. But I want to include with you a piece that I saw on CBS Morning the other day about Bruce Lee. It was done by his daughter, who's written a book. And if you take a look at this, I've only selected about 2 minutes of that, maybe a little longer than that. But it's really interesting to see how he used affirmations and eventually that those affirmations came to fruition. So I wanted to include that for you. I think it's really powerful. Again, they have been incredibly helpful to me. I know Dan has done affirmations forever, as have I, and I hope that you're doing them as well. But this is a first-hand example of what he wrote down and then what actually happened. So I would encourage you to watch this video and then take those lessons and use them in what you're doing. So here is that video.
Ooh, that's Bruce Lee, of course, in his iconic 1973 movie Enter the Dragon. The kung fu martial artist and teacher became an international superstar and cultural icon in the early 1970s. He starred in a series of big screen hits like Fist of Fury and The Way of the Dragon. Through his work, Lee fought to change the way Asians and Asian Americans were portrayed on the screen in the U.S. and around the world. First on CBS this morning, his daughter Shannon Lee tells us about her new book, exploring his less well-known side as a philosophical thinker.
My last name is Lee, Bruce Lee. I was born in San Francisco in 1940.
In the mid-1960s, Bruce Lee did a screen test for the television show The Green Hornet.
And you went to college in the United States?
Yes.
And what did you study?
Philosophy.
Lee, who landed the part as Kato,
If he gets the H-bomb, what are the chances of it exploding?
the gung fu fighting sidekick in the series, wanted to understand the philosophy behind the martial arts that would soon make him a global star in films like Enter the Dragon.
It is like a finger pointing away to the moon. Don't concentrate on the finger or you will miss all that heavenly glory.
When you were growing up, did you think of your father as a philosopher?
You know, I guess not as much as I do now, you know.
Lee's daughter Shannon shares his principles in the new book, Be Water, My Friend, The Teachings of Bruce Lee.
He really kind of planned his own life.
Yes. It seems kind of corny to say this, but, you know, he was a man of action. Like, literally, right? Like he was a martial artist and an action film star, but he fully put into action his goals, his dreams, his life. He trained not just his body, but his mind.
In 1969, Lee wrote out by hand what he called my definite chief aim, to be the highest paid Asian superstar in America, and declaring, I will achieve world fame.
It seems almost clairvoyant.
Yeah, but he really believed in putting your mind on what you want, you know, and not thinking of things as impossible.
The book's title comes from Lee's most famous philosophy.
I said, empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless, like water. Now, you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put it in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now, water can flow, or it can crash.
Or it can crash.
Be water, my friend.
Be water, my friend.
I hope you found that as helpful as I did. One of the reasons that Dan spends so much time and I spend so much time on mindset and motivation is just how important it is. In the deep dive boot camp that I did, I spent a lot of time on affirmations, gave examples of them and what works, why it works, and how to do them. So if you have gone ahead and gotten that deep dive boot camp, go back and just look at that section if you have had problems with affirmations. If not, you might want to grab that boot camp, brucewhipple.com/deep dive boot camp. And if you also want to just search through these YouTubes and put in affirmations, you're going to see that I did a couple of these that might be helpful as well, specifically on affirmations. So again, powerful if you do them. And if you read them in the morning and last thing at night, I think they'll serve you pretty well, as they have me and Dan.